Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. Before I introduce my next guest, I just want to say thank you very much to everybody for watching the videos and watching them to near to end. And that it's like 78% now. You're nearly watching all of it, and like that's brilliant because not so long ago I couldn't really hold the crowd on like 30-minute plus videos, and now you're more, it's more engaging, and I'm tending to hold you more. So thanks for watching till the end, and that includes you trolls as well. So anyway, my next guest is the co-founder of Porky's Corner with me, my good friend from London, originally Finland, RIKU Healy. How are you doing, Rico?
It's haking about. Cheers, anyways. I'm well,
it's what?
It's haking.
Hate you. Oh, sorry, man. Well, you know, I can't.
Oh, mate, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I'm good, thank you. How about yourself, mate?
I'm all right. Can I just say though? Do you know when you see a word from Finland, they have like funny letters, don't they, in funny positions?
Yeah, it's the A with the two dots.
Oh, right. Yeah. What is that? Why does it have two dots above it? The A.
It's like an AE. It's like A instead of an A. It's an A.
Oh, right.
You know, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Man United's manager.
Yeah.
So he's got the AE, but actually the Norwegians will spell it with an A with two dots.
Oh, right. Is Norwegian same as Finland, same language kind of thing?
No, different language, but same letters, and Swedish as well has the same letters.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
3 extra letters in the alphabet.
You see, I always used to think that Norway and Finland, Denmark and all that were all like next village or something, or next area.
You know what? They're all probably bigger than the UK in size. I mean, Finland's a lot bigger than the UK in size, and Sweden will be as well. And I think, well, Norway is quite narrow, but yeah.
Brilliant. What's been going on then, Rico?
DAZN's been going on, increasing the prices and making everybody cancel. I just cancelled my DAZN yesterday.
95 quid a year now, isn't it? That's like 5 pay-per-views, isn't it?
Yeah, I looked at
96
this.
quid.
Yeah, 36 cards a year. That's £2.70 a card.
Yeah.
So if I compare that to the Premier League on Sky, 9 months of Sky, 128 games. If you buy Now TV, that's £34 a month. So that's £2.40 a game. So actually, and then you get the F1 and cricket and boxing on Sky on top. So actually, DAZN's quite expensive for what it is.
So basically, Eddie Hills is in a lot of trouble then.
Yeah, I asked a lot of people yesterday on Twitter ahead of our conversation on what they were going to do, and I'd say a majority said they've got to cancel theirs, or a few said they're going to see what's going to happen with the schedule. But at the moment, we're going to be paying, or those that are going to stay with DAZN are going to be paying £8 for a schedule that has Warrington against Lara, that card, and then also the Liverpool card.
Oh, God. So they've put it up eventually. We knew that anyway. He wanted to get you on up, didn't he? But he's not put a card on it. USA has it for 4 months.
No, and there's talk about there was meant to be the Mikey Garcia against Prograis card on. That got cancelled, and there was going to be a card with Mikey Garcia headlining, and that's got cancelled. So I think Eddie's US expansion has grounded to a halt. He doesn't have any fighters over there either, does he?
Rico, do you think that Eddie Hills, the 4-0 Iceman from Billericay, free by fucking way of, do you feel that Eddie is being frozen out by Heyman, Aram, DeBella and all them sort of guys? Do you think they've all ganged up on him?
Yeah, of course, but he rubbed them all up the wrong way because he came in and said that he was going to change the game, and, you know, all these promoters in the US are old school and he's going to do it differently. And obviously, he hasn't been putting on the cards. He doesn't have the fighters. I imagine he thought just because he had money, everybody would leave Al Heyman, but yeah, he got found out in the US badly.
In the last 6 months, all we've had in the UK is the fight camp rubbish.
Yes.
So do you think that there's a problem with him getting fights made in the UK because of what they're paying and how they want everything stacked in their favour? Or do you feel that boxing is grinding to a halt in the UK because Warren's not pulling any trees up either, is he? I mean, that one he's just sent Tommy Fury over there and DeBar.
Yeah, look, I think about Warren. I wouldn't be surprised if BT got acquired by DAZN, and there's some rumors to that effect. So it might be that they've upped the price just to get BT, just to get the rights of BT and acquire the sports business of BT. And that might have been the reason why they've upped it. But I think in general, it's been harder to do shows during the pandemic in the US because people have to isolate and quarantine, and there was the travel bans between the US and the UK until recently. So the other thing, obviously, that you have to be mindful about is in the US, you don't have to necessarily pay as much purses because it's depending on the state, the taxes aren't as heavy.
It's going to be.
I just don't think there's enough good fighters. That's the reality, and also the good fights aren't being made. So, you know, we haven't seen the great middleweight fights of this generation of Brits. You know, the likes of Billy Joe Saunders against Callum Smith, that could have happened. John Ryder against, you know, whoever, maybe a rematch with Billy Joe Saunders, but we just aren't seeing any of these fights. So what's the point? You can't even make Triple G against Billy Joe Saunders or anything else.
Did you know there's been 53 pay-per-views since 2013? That's when Carl Froch brought it back with Kessler.
Yes, Dale mentioned.
Dale. Oh, Dale did it, yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, Dale mentioned, and got a few more stats here from him. Well, he says 36 pay-per-views in 8 years on Sky. BT have done 7 in 3 years. ITV have also done 8 from February 2017 to February 2019.
So basically, do you remember when it came back and they were tiptoeing around it and they were saying it were a one-off and it were for them fights that you couldn't miss when they brought it back, and you just can't miss Froch Kessler because they fought in Super 6 and they both delivered. Carl delivered in his 3 pay-per-views. We have to give him credit, don't we?
Yeah, he did.
Kessler and the 2 Groves ones. But he sort of laid the foundations. But since then, do you feel that Sky had a tight rein on it for them first ones, and then after that, they've just let Eddie Earn do what he wants, haven't they? And everybody's just jumped on bandwagon. They're like vultures, aren't they, mate?
Yeah, I think it's been Eddie's allowed the purses to inflate, and you know, boxing in general, as it's grown, the purses inflated massively. So if you look at it this way, let's say somebody like AJ is making 6 million a fight, £6 million. So it's quite easy for anybody to argue why they're worth £1 million. And the only way they could fund the inflation is through pay-per-views and putting them all back on the customers, right? And now it's going to be quite different with DAZN because DAZN is not pay-per-view. So there's going to be another way of charging it for the customers, because what you paid your 30 quid a month on Sky, that was for football, F1, boxing, cricket, everything else. Now you're paying 8 quid a month just to watch 2 or 3 shows months of Matchroom fighters, and you look at some of the fights that have been made. I mean, the purses can't be that big, can they? Do you feel?
I agree. Do you feel? Listen, Eddie Earn's not biggest payer. We know that, don't we? We know that by a country mile. But he does pay what he says. He says you're getting, you get. This is why I don't believe this Billy Joe having a moan, apparently, allegedly, about that he hasn't been paid. If Eddie says you're getting paid X amount, you'll get paid them at X amount. They've never gone bankrupt ever in 40 odd years since they've been going. And they've always stood on. So nobody's saying they don't pay, but they're not biggest payers. But do you feel that it's all come home to roost now and rinsing fans? Because we're on to a different generation now, because Eddie's had his 10 plus years. It's a different type of age group now. All the older people have died and moved on. The next generation that's coming through, they're not buying into this boxing, are they, RIKU? Because we've seen all analytics from age group things, 18 to 24s. Yeah. 10 years ago, them 18-year-olds or 20-year-olds were 10. Now they're coming into their own. They're not watching it, are they? And the older people are dying. So what's going to happen in another 10 years where we're going to be?
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right, Porky. And the other thing is also boxing's become so fragmented that you'd have to have Fight TV to watch some UK fighters like Josh Taylor. You have to have BT Sports to watch Dubois and Yard and Lyndon Arthur and others. You have to have Sky now to watch AJ on Sky pay-per-view. Why you can get Sky pay-per-view, you'll probably get AJ on that without having Sky, but all the other guys that are going to stay at Sky, guys and women. And then you have to have DAZN. So boxing with all the pay-per-views and the multiple providers makes it such an expensive sport to follow. And also we're not seeing the best facing the best. So why am I going to invest in that sport? And that's why I think you look at somebody like Jake Paul against Tyron Woodley over the weekend, it's easy to be really critical about it, but at the end of the day, it's a fight that people wanted to see, people watched, and it's no away from boxing. If boxing did its job properly, then people would be tuning in to watch good boxing fights. I mean, we haven't had Spence against Crawford, we haven't had Fury against AJ, we haven't had any of the big fights that we've wanted to see for years, have we?
No, we haven't, mate. And, you know, we've been left with basically rubbish. We haven't had Canelo Beterbiev or Beterbiev.
No, we haven't had any of the fights. So why would I invest in the sports and pay all this money to watch fights that are never going to be as good as the fights that I want to see? It's like paying for the Premier League and you only get to see Liverpool against Burnley, but you never get to see Liverpool against Man City, right? It doesn't make any sense.
I think the common denominator in all this, Rico, is greed. And I think that managers, trainers as well, trainers are playing a part in this, and fighters all want to be businessmen and all want to play end game. They all want to have it padded records and then get to money instead of just fighting the fucking fights. Fuck's sake! Sorry about it. I get fucking revved up.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. There's not enough money in the sports not to have the good fights. And I think what the, pandemic and everything has shown is that people just want to, people just want to see the best fights. And unless boxing can deliver those, boxing's going to lose fans.
Losing fans? You've seen it. We know where they're going. They're not coming to the sport, mate. I'm fearful for sport. I don't see any YouTubers coming through ranks. Where's these young YouTubers? Ali, HJM Boxing, Ali Marshall. He started his YouTube channel and drifted off. These kids are going to drift into MMA or other sports or just, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not saying they're going to be sat on street corners, but nobody's showing an interest from that age group, 18 to 24. They're not.
But how can you if you don't see the best events? Like, what's the point of following a sports where you never see the most interesting fights or the big events?
But yeah, all we get on social media is intense beef between these people. And I mean, what we're left with, instead of, we've got Joshua and AJ going back and forward, you big doss of this and you fat that and whatever. And then we've got David A and Joe Fournier laid on a beach and Joe Fournier laid there saying, "Here, Dave, I tell you what we'll do. We'll invent a bit of pretend beef between me and you, and all your gullible followers will pay 25 quid to watch it." And he's gone, "Yeah, that's a good idea, that, Joe. Let's do that. Let's go back and put our hands back in the biscuit barrel again." And then Joe Fournier's gone, "Yeah, and then you can pay me back what you owe me."
But you know what? All of those events, I mean, look, I don't agree with David Hay coming back and Sky promoting it as a proper boxing event, but I don't think any of those events are away from boxing. Think about it this way. If we had a big charity football match with all the celebrities, what's the one they play every year where Gary Barlow and everybody else?
Oh, Robbie Williams. That It's like some UNICEF.
Yeah, it's some charity game, right? If they did that every other week, nobody would say that's away, and Sky, it was shown on Sky and stuff. Nobody would ever say that's away from.
No.
Because you have the proper level of interesting games, and then you have this level, which is above a circus. So I think you just have to look at it this way. it's something else that's boxing, but it's not really top level boxing. But if people can't offer you top level boxing, then I'd rather, not me, but a lot of people would rather watch the circus, right?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, mate. I'm just fearful for the sport, and I want to know when these people who have got their hands in Biscuit Barrel killed the sport off. What are they going to do then? Are they going to apologize?
It's going to go to music, I imagine, and
yeah,
somebody else is going to be involved in boxing, and it's just going to die out. I mean, look, there's still the Olympic team did well. There's still talented fighters in the UK, but it's just a case of, can I watch another 4-year cycle of them fighting against people that I'm not interested in, beating them up, and then 5-6 years down the line, they might get a world title shot. And I think that's the problem, is that every time we get a new exciting crop of fighters, we have to wait for 5 or 6 years for them to fight any meaningful fights.
I mean, I heard a story this morning that Audley Harrison's shaping up.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look, there's money to be made on this stuff. Anybody that sports as a professional boxer has the right to come back and fight in these exhibition bouts, but it's more telling for me what it means to, how boxing's declining, rather than, 20 years ago or 10 years ago, when boxing was not at its peak, but, doing a lot better, when Froch was fighting and Kell Brook in his prime, and we had all these other guys fighting back then. Do you think they could have done that? The old timers, somebody like Clinton Woods, if he would have come back in an exhibition fight, people wouldn't have been as interested, because they had so many good fights to look forward to. Now people don't have any good fights to look forward to.
Clinton Woods, let me tell you, were offered, forget how much it were now, to fight Enzo Maccarinelli. And he knocked it back. 200 grand he were offered. He knocked it back. Because Clinton's had his time, and you know what Clinton's like. He's just straight John Bull, isn't he? Just no airs and graces. He don't want to kiss anybody's ass. He's had his time. His brains are intact. He's got property, a few quid. He's got a gym. He's in a good position. So why would he want to come back and risk all that?
100%.
Or Clinton, it's like Clinton said to me, what if I get knocked out, or what if I look crap on night? All for what? A few measly quid. That ain't going to change his life. He's not going to buy a better house, is he?
No.
What can you do with 200 grand nowadays? Buy 2 houses and rent them out for 200 quid a week?
Maybe in your neck of the woods, not around here, but still.
Well, whatever. But
I'd also say, back to the DAZN price increase, it's a 400% price increase to what it was before. And the price they charging or trying to charge the fans is the same that you charge for Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime gets you films, TV series, it gets you some live sports, the tennis and a few Premier League games, some NFL games. Also, you get the free deliveries every month when you order from Amazon. So if you're thinking about it from a value perspective, £8's a lot of money, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, 2 seconds.
No way.
Well, yeah, you got.
What you pay for Disney Plus, it's what you pay for the cheapest package on Netflix. It's a lot of money, isn't it? £8 for you to spend 3 weekends a month watching about boxing, and then some back catalogue of content that you're not interested in.
Well, I think 96 quid a year, or whatever it is that what it is, 96 quid?
Yeah,
96 quid a year, on top of household bills as it is, and top of all your other stuff like your Sky or your BT or whatever server you've got in your house. I think it's a Liberty TV license is only not much more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. And I mean, so much for game changed. I mean, as somebody tweeted,
Game changed.
Somebody tweeted the other day, are we paying 96 quid to watch Tony Bellew chucking a beanbag?
Tony Bellew what?
Chucking a beanbag. They do the beanbag.
Oh, you would do. Oh, yeah. Oh my God! What Eddie Hearn playing cricket in Matchroom Babble.
Yeah, I mean, look, the production values of DAZN aren't as good as Sky. The product doesn't look as slick. So you're paying a lot of money to have a lot of average fights. I mean, look, if I don't watch a single DAZN fight this year or Matchroom fight this year, I won't be too bothered. If I've got other things to do, I'm not going to watch boxing because there aren't good enough fights. Yes, when there's a good enough fight like AJ against Usyk, well, I'll be there in person, but I'll watch a good fight. But
are you going to it?
Yeah.
You snake.
I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate to see a lot of these fights that have been scheduled.
Mad Max with breadcrumbs going. Mad Max with Volvo out of a breadcrumb. He's going to AJ Usyk.
Oh, is he? How did he get tickets?
I don't know. They probably took pity on him. I think he got him off StubHub. Max, you fucking snake.
Nah, I
sat with RIKU.
Well, one of my mates got them on there.
Give your RIKU, please. Turn it in.
You know me, I'd never get them on StubHub. Never funding Matchroom's pockets that way.
I think them ones Max got on StubHub were 60 quid more or something than they should have been. You know, the basic ticket, the extra 60 on top. Really? And then booking fee as well. They've got it all figured out, haven't they?
Christ, yeah, that's expensive.
I mean, how can you get away with that, RIKU? Just saying, oh, here's the allegation of ticket. All the lot have gone on there apart from the comped ones, haven't they? We know that, don't we?
More or less, or a lot of them have. The other thing is, I remember during the pandemic, for some events that they were doing in the early stages when people could do events, I think what they were saying is that if you buy a ticket, you have to turn up with the person that's bought the ticket to let you in if you buy for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, also, you could just say, you could do a ticket transfer thing. So I bought some NFL tickets at the Spurs Stadium. So if you want to sell those tickets, you need to put them back on the platform, and then you need to transfer them over to somebody else, and they'll transfer the money. So there's lots of ways that you don't have to pay for you don't have to do this touting stuff that they're doing online. But it's clearly that they don't want to do it. They obviously want to make money by running StubHub and, getting the booking fees and the selling more Matchroom tickets on StubHub.
That's brilliant, isn't it? That's brilliant. All right, then let's move on to Bricktop show. I've done with all that paperwork I had. Forgot. Bricktop show. We'll do. Can you get it up on your box, Rex? I don't know where that sheet of paper's gone to. Bollocks! Fucking that many wires in here. Sorry about that, mate. Oh, I'm fucking tied around bastard chair now. Oh, hang on. Sorry about that. Fucking wires everywhere. 2 seconds. I ain't got the sheet of paper. I had a sheet of paper yesterday before we had that tech trouble yesterday. We all fucking mouse, camera, headphones.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm strangled here. Wires all over. Brett Frank's show, obviously.
So
yesterday.
So what were your thoughts on Akeem Ennis-Brown versus Sam Maxwell?
I thought Sam Maxwell is the luckiest guy I've seen since Tim Bradley fought Manny Pacquiao first time.
Yeah. Not far off the truth. That's correct.
I thought it were a shocker. Oh, what judges RIKU in that?
Let's see. Supervisor. I can only see Inspector. Tony Hedges, Kenny. Yeah. Where's the judges? Can't find the judges. Yeah, I think Akeem Ennis-Brown is the guy that is chief of the Who Needs Him club, right? So nobody really wants to fight him.
Like a Callum Johnson, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got an awkward style. It's not. I don't really think Sam Maxwell. Yeah, Sam Maxwell isn't going to go fight. He's 32 years old, isn't he?
Yeah. Big puncher, Sam Maxwell, though.
Yeah, relatively.
The say he's got a rate whack on him. People in game.
But it's not. You had that, and then you had Anthony Kakache against Leon Woodstock. The rest was like Anthony Yard against somebody he should have beaten very easily.
Middleweight one, that kid.
Yeah, I don't really know what they do with Anthony Yard at the moment. I have no idea.
Who's advising him? Tunde Ajayi?
Yeah, will be Tunde, but I just have no idea. I have no idea what they're going to do. Are they going to make the Lyndon Arthur rematch or not?
I don't think they want that fight. I mean, it's how long is since the first fought?
Must be over a year now. But even if you don't want that fight, you move in another route, right? You go up some other rankings or you do something. There's only so many of these smaller guys he can beat.
Do you think they're just wrapping him up in cotton wool until there's a big payday?
Yeah, well, I reckon that's what they're doing.
See, it's another one, isn't it? Not fighting anybody. He's not gone through levels like Dylan White, although Dylan got a vacant British, but he's not really gone through levels. Yard's not gone through them. Conor Benn. Bouts is not really fighting anybody. They all want to be businessmen, don't they?
Yeah, but that's why UK fighters fall behind US fighters. And, in the US, credit to PBC in particular, they match their guys tough. And, even Top Rank do that to an extent. It's because in the UK, people are more protective of the O than they are in the US.
Okay. Who else were on the card, Rico?
Nathan Heaney.
12-0 now, isn't he? Or 13-0?
12-0, yeah. He's a big ticket seller, isn't he? So
yeah,
I'm sure he'll get a decent fight against somebody. But obviously, they don't want to keep him too they don't want to ensure that he loses. So, but he's 32 now, isn't he?
Who is Nathan?
Yeah,
he needs to get a move on.
He does. Look, the standard of this card is pretty dreadful, isn't it?
3 British titles on that fight, and when you look at it, you think, "Wow, 3 British titles." But once you scratch the surface, you couldn't put that show against anything Frank Warren were doing years ago, could you? He'd be embarrassed, wouldn't he, to put that next to what he used to serve up.
He doesn't have the stable, but also it's in-house fights, and Kakashi used to fight on Matchroom shows and on Carl Frampton undercards. It's just recycled fighters, isn't it?
What about the kid I went to see at Mickey Fio's gym? The kid who fled the Taliban, age 6, Kamidi. He drew, didn't
he? Yeah, he drew against Ahmed.
Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it? He's a nice kid. Who else were on the card, Rico?
I mean, the rest is like Liam Davis against Raymond Comey, William Hayden against Dean Jones. I mean, these aren't interesting fights.
So Frank, aka Bricktop, basically you're dying a death in front of our eyes. Come on, Porky's Corner and answer some proper boxing questions, Frank. I might have to start putting a bit of pressure on you. You know what I mean? I might have to put some billboards up and set about Bricktop. Because Bricktop, when he's flying, can really pull rabbits out of the hat, can't he? But is he working with shithousers who don't want to fight? I mean, I personally think Frank sat there with his head in his hands thinking he's having to deal with certain managers, certain advisors, certain people's dads. And whatever happened to just people fighting, mate? Whatever happened to that? If you put the fights on, the fans will flock, Rico, won't they, to shows? If they put them on, why can't we put them on? Why don't they just say, look, if you're not fighting this person, fuck off? Because there's too many people now wanting to have padded records and be known as boxers. Like this Tommy Fury carry on. Tommy Fury started out in an 8-rounder against this dummy, right? It's then gone to 6 and then 4. Who's fucking allowing that? And he's a cruiserweight. He's a cruiserweight fighting a fucking welterweight, wasn't it?
Isn't he an ex-MMA guy as well?
I mean, fuck all, does it? In boxing, he's naked, he's stripped naked in boxing, isn't he? He's vulnerable. He's not in octagon, is he?
Yeah, 100%. Well, when's the last time you thought you looked at a show in the UK that wasn't an AJ show, and you said, actually, this is a really good fight? Oh, sorry, this is a really good card.
Can't remember. I looked at Dennis's show that went out, and I thought, before they had pullouts, I thought pretty decent for Dennis for what he's been serving up. And then you had all pullouts, and then it were basically stripped bare, wasn't it? They had to rely on main fight to deliver, which I thought, an exciting fight. And young Tomlinson's a good TV fighter. He didn't take a backward step till end, but I thought he could have carried on. But looking at the card 2 weeks before or a week before, you can still think that's all right. But when they actually fight, no, because you have pullouts. And we all know what these pullouts are, don't we? I'm not saying Dennis has done this, but I know people have been put on box rec cards, and I'm like, he's not even in camp. What's he on card for? You see where I'm coming from? And then they're pulled off, but people think, oh, I'll get a ticket because so-and-so's on. It's fucking Liberties, mate. And that what Frank said up at weekend. Yeah, British titles. And they're handing them out willy-nilly, British titles. I'll go buy one tomorrow if I want for my son. Put it around my waist. Something's got to change. And I'm hoping to change the mindset. Listen, we've got to strip it bare and ruin all these fuckers, right? From board, promoters, the lot. They've all got to be embarrassed and shamed for the fans to say, fuck it, we agree with Russell from Porky's Corner, to then start again. That's my mindset. And if people don't like it, fuck you. That's what I think. It's going to get worse before it gets better, Rico, isn't it?
100%. Well, today we are expecting an announcement from Wasserman Boxing on
another one.
Signings. Yeah, some signings, Sky, hearing some rumors of fighters.
Chris Eubank.
No. As in new fighters on Sky.
New fighters on Sky?
Yeah, some familiar names will be there.
I bet they're all Ed Robinson choices. I bet half of them are affiliated with Fitzroy Lodge.
No. I'll tell you off camera.
All right, then. All right, I look forward to that, Rico. WBA, they're saying yet again, but they said this, didn't they, 27 months ago? We're going to get rid of all interim belts. How many have they got rid of so far in the last 7 days?
I'm not sure.
Nil.
Zero.
So 7 days up, and they haven't got rid of one. But they said this 27 months ago. Are they just painting fans' lip service because everybody's having a pop at them about all the champions?
You know what? I wouldn't mind interim belts as long as there was a period that they said it's a 6-month bout, and in that 6 months you have to fight against the champion, or the champion has to vacate. So that could work for injuries. But again, you don't necessarily need an interim belt. You could just have a final mandatory fight, the same what the IBF does. That means that then whoever fights for, wins the final eliminator has to fight against the champion, because that's what an interim belt's supposed to be. But actually, it's just a way to get sanctioning fees for the same thing, isn't it? Because you keep on paying sanctioning fees while you have these interim belts. So how are the WBA going to claw back that money?
I know, yeah. Well, they're going to be down on the money, aren't they then?
Well, exactly.
Well, if you're lobbying for a ranking, you've still got to give them a drink.
Well, of course. I mean, that's how it works. We all know that.
So, do you know what I mean?
To defend your interim belts and everything else, you always have to give them a drink, or
five grand.
Fees. So they could have 3 champions in a division or something silly, and they all paying sanctioning fees for championship bouts.
4 champions, isn't it, on each way?
Yeah, and they all paying sanctioning fees. I mean, that's a racket, isn't it?
Racket? They make my protection fucking racket at school look tame. Women's boxing, Rico. What's happening with Savannah Marshall and Yui Fury as well? We'll start with women's boxing. Has Eddie Hearn gone cold on Savannah? Because he doesn't seem to be delivering for her, does he?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that relationship seems to be not as good as it used to be. I think hopefully Savannah looks for other opportunities, and hopefully she finds somebody that supports her and backs her, because she's the best female boxer to watch, I'd say.
When I heard a rumor that Carissa Shields got massive money to do that MMA fight, and then Eddie Hearn offered her peanuts to fight Savannah. This is what I'm hearing.
Well, wouldn't be surprised. Look, Clarissa Shields is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in the US, so in the US she probably carries a lot of weight, and people are interested in following her. But if you want to make that fight for Savannah and Clarissa, you have to pay them proper money, and it's a proper fight that people actually want to see. You can't just pay them less because they're female boxers in that case.
Yeah.
You have to, I'd care more about seeing that fight than any Katie Taylor fight.
I don't want to see Katie Taylor in the ring again. I think she's had 2 gifts so far, hometown decisions, and I also think she's on slide. I don't want to see her. She's boring. I don't go to bed and I think she's all right. Yeah, she's all right. I don't think that about her. But then again, I don't think that about Everyday Bridges. I think she looks like a little slag. So, and I think fighting in fishnets makes it look even trashier. It's trashy in the sport. And when I was watching that Jake Paul fight against that guy over there, and I watched Tommy Fury against that other guy, I was sat looking and I looked at the build-up, and it was all big showtime and cameras zooming in on them all and this and that, and the big build-up and the massive crowd and all that. And I was looking at it. And then I kept going on to Ebony Bridges fight, looking at that in fishnets. And I was thinking, fucking hell, what's happened? It's on us now, isn't it? Everything we said 2 years ago, it's now on us. And they're saying Jake Paul's going to be the biggest promoter in the world now. He's now paying boxers extra. And I was looking, I thought, it's fucking really, it's fucking a mess, isn't it? It's a fucking mess.
But what does it show you about how badly run boxing is? If a YouTuber can come into boxing, run his own shows, get Showtime pay-per-view platform, produce a very high-quality show, sell out the arena, get boxers on the undercard, decent boxers, pay them a good wage to be on the undercard. Isn't that just an indictment of how badly run the sport is? Because people aren't doing it properly. It's not Jake Paul's fault. It's everybody else's fault.
Yeah, for allowing it, because what Jake Paul's seen, he's seen a chink in the armour with people in the industry who basically will haul themselves out for a few quid. I mean, it was embarrassing to see Glenn McCrory doing sit-downs with YouTube channels talking about his comeback and how he's still got something in tank and that, and he hasn't fought since 80s. That was embarrassing for me, because I know Glenn personally. And then to see other people hovering about like flies around shit, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it, mate.
No.
And it's become tired now. And what about these kids that are like 8-0, 9-0, who are making the way in boxing, and the kids who are turning over? I mean, what do they think about all this?
Yeah, look, it's up. I always think about it this way. It's up to them to make themselves stars and, to generate their interest. Jake Paul's done that off his own back. He's interesting enough as a guy that people actually want to invest and follow his career. But a lot of boxers, they don't put in the work to produce interesting content. They don't, I've done this before where I've tried to buy tickets of boxers. I message them on Twitter. They're not responding. This is the problem with a lot of boxers.
Yeah, a bit like Liam Cameron, who let me down for an interview. He works near where I live now, and he just let me down. I arranged an interview with him, let me down. I remember when I first started Channel Off, he used to let me down all the time, didn't he? Liam was in my second ever interview, but on the first day of doing it. And he let me down a few times, and that was one of the main reasons that I set the channel up to help Dennis's fighters sell more tickets, and they just want forthcoming. Tommy Frank, they want queuing up to get themselves out there, and that's why they're in the predicament they are. Nobody's saying they can't fight, but there's two jobs to it. There's your training, your fighting, and you've got to do media work, haven't you, and things like that. Put yourself out there. And if fighters don't want to sell your tickets when you're messaging them, fuck them.
Well, exactly. You can't complain about a poor person if you can't do that stuff. I mean, look, Jake Paul ran a very good event, generated a lot of money, sold a lot of pay-per-views. That's on him. I mean, look, again, a lot of boxers got paid on the undercard. Promoters can't do this with proper boxers, so problem is the promoters.
What do you think is going to happen with Tyson Fury now and Bob Arum? Because there's a little slight whisper doing the rounds that if at right money, Fury would be gone to Heyman. What do you think to that?
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm not.
What, to Bob Arum, who's like a dad to him, he was saying other month?
Yeah, I mean, Fury said a lot of stuff, right? I think he'd go for the right money, but again, if Fury goes to Heyman, Fury beats, let's say he beats Wilder, hypothetically. I don't think he will, personally, but let's say he beats Wilder. He goes to Heyman. Who's he going to fight then? The AJ fight's even further away.
Oh, massively further away. But Bob Arum, people are saying in the know, got his fingers burnt with Fury, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You can't denote with him now. I mean, do you think that's coming to an end, their relationship?
Yeah, I think after this fight, I wouldn't be surprised if I said this before, Fury might retire.
Do you think he'll fight next month?
Well, I'm not hearing the right noises from the camp. I'm not hearing, I'm not seeing him on Instagram talking about the fight. I'm not seeing the promotion. Like when you have a mate and you say, shall we meet up next Friday or next Thursday, right? And then they say, yeah, sure. And then, you're messaging them and saying, where should we meet up? And they're not responding. And then the Friday morning comes and you say, are we still going to meet up? And they say, oh, something came up, something last minute. But throughout the whole process, it's never going to happen because they're not saying the right signs. They're not giving the right vibe. So that's my feeling with this Fury Wilder fight. I might be wrong, but my feeling is that Fury doesn't seem to, he doesn't have the energy where he's actually interested in this fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've seen Fury in many camps. Like, it's different when Fury's fighting and he's excited to fight. He's out there, he's talking up the fight, he's on social media. Whereas now he's just quiet, which isn't Fury like.
Yeah, if Fury's quiet, he might just be switching off from social media. He could get you down all that, mate. I mean,
yeah, but does Fury ever switch off when he wants to sell a fight?
No, because it's money, isn't it? He's money driven, isn't he?
Exactly.
This is why I don't think it happens. Eddie Hearn don't think it happens. I know you don't think it does. And if it don't happen, where's his credibility?
Well, nobody's going to question that, are they?
The division's parked up. Where does that leave the can man? He'll be screaming blue murder for a title shot with Wilder, won't he? Oh, will he? Oh, will he? Or will his arse fall out? Will he want to get a fight signed quick so he don't have to fight Wilder?
Maybe.
He's not going to be that keen, is he?
No.
Okie dokie then, Rico. Well, we've had a good chat.
Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
I'm off to Leeds now to do helmets, super helmets. Yeah, showing me super helmet mask. I think you've seen it anyway, have you?
I have seen it, but I always have a laugh when I see it.
Oh, I don't know where it is. It's probably in car, but I'm on my way to Leeds now. I think Chris Medley's coming with me for drive. He's not here yet, so that should be interesting, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Me and Chris Medley let loose in Leeds.
Send Chris my best.
I will. All right, then, Rico, you take care and
right,
all the best, mate. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Mate. I don't know how to turn it off.
Should I leave the conversation?
Hey?
Should I leave the conversation?
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. All right then, mate. Well, you
Right,
take care,
cheers,
mate.
bye.
Cheers, pal. Bye.
Bye.
Have a look. Oh, here it is. Well, that's about it, really. Thanks for watching me and Rico. I'm going to train now and then go to Leeds when Chris gets here. Can I just give a big shout out to the gentleman that sent me these? They come in 3 different flavors. Sent me 24. Thank you very much. I needed them as well because I'm waiting for Dripping Tap to ring me. But thank you very much. I'll try this when I've had my workout. Grenada, is it? Oh, grenade shake. Okie dokie then. That's about it. Big shout out to what's he called now? I forgot his name. My head's gone. Big shout out to Michael from Chesterfield. All right. Yeah, I got your email this morning. Thank you very much. There was something else I wanted to mention, but my head's a bit scrambled. I've got a great bad stomach this morning. Okie dokie then. So don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Peace out.